Hi, I'm James Shillinglaw. I'm here in London, actually at the Tottenham Football Stadium, with a brand new facility, amazing. We just got a tour of it. I'm here with Patricia Yates, who's the CEO of Visit Britain. And we've interviewed Patricia before, but not for a while because a little COVID thing happened. And we're happy to be back here finally in London and in England. And we're going to talk to Patricia about the state of British tourism today, what's going on this year in terms of marketing efforts, and a whole lot more on Insider Travel Report. First of all, Patricia, great to see you. Great to be here. I mean, it's amazing, and I love this football stadium. It really is an amazing facility, right?
It's an amazing facility, and it's great to be meeting back in person, isn't it? There's nothing like that sense of seeing people and having that conversation. Absolutely,
and we're getting out there finally. We could be doing. We're not doing this on Zoom. I'm even very happy about that. Now let's talk about what's going on with Britain today. How did Britain do in 2022, which I think people thought was going to be a good year, but I think in retrospect, I think it was a better year than a lot of people thought, right?
For inbound tourism, we came back much stronger than we had thought, particularly on value. So we're seeing people who do come are spending a lot more. And I have to say, everyone you ask in Britain would say the recovery is driven by the Americans. So
yeah, well, suddenly the pound got a lot more value. For a long time, it wasn't. Now, sadly, we love that the value of the pound versus the dollar right now.
No, that's really great. But by the end of last year, we were above COVID levels for spend in this country from the American market, up 15%, and we reckon we're going to see that continue for the next year.
Well, I did want to talk to you about 23. If last year was good, 23 is going to be gangbusters, right? It's going to be great.
We are very bullish with our forecast. Yes, so we're saying we will be up to around £29.5 billion from inbound tourism. That is more than we were seeing pre-COVID. So we think we will hit recovery and go through it. And the American market still up 20% on pre-COVID. So still driven by the American market.
Well, I tell you, when we could finally travel abroad, we went in droves, and everybody came to Europe, and a lot of people came to the UK. So it's been great to come back here because we were sort of starved for this place for the last 2-3 years, right?
Well, and it's great to see you back, isn't it? And I think businesses that are open, want to welcome international visitors and want to show what Britain is all about.
And we came back, and you guys have done a few interesting things here as well. While we've been sleeping over in the States, we'll talk about that in a second. But I wanted to talk about some of the events and celebrations that you're really keying on for 2023. And I know there's a real big one coming up. There's some kind of king being crowned here. I wasn't sure about that, right?
Yes. So in a few months, so in May, we have a coronation. So following on from Platinum Jubilee and the royal celebrations last year, we have a coronation this year. I've never seen one, so much excitement about what it will be like, how much of it will be the traditional and how much it will be new and personal. And of course, we would love to see that pageantry, blue skies, gold coaches, the troops marching in sequence would be a great advert globally for Britain.
Well, I know that most of us, unfortunately, during the Queen's funeral, we were glued to our sets because it was such pageantry and such amazing thing. And obviously, it wasn't a celebration, although believe me, it was a celebration of her life, which I think was very appropriate. I mean, she dominated the 20th and 21st centuries, right?
Yes, I've never known another queen.
I know, and now you'll have a king.
And now we have a king, and it was very funny the first time singing God Save the King as opposed to God Save the Queen.
You had to stop at the end of the song, God Save the King. Well, that used to be what it was when her father was here, but I wasn't even alive back then, so this is interesting. Now, so you have the coronation. Anything else in terms of events that you want to highlight for 2023?
Well, we are really excited at hosting Eurovision Song Contest. I know that's not so well known.
We talked before. People know what it is. We know song contests. We're good at that. But I think we may know it more than you think.
Well, I'm glad because it's not just Europe now. There are other countries that I would say are not in Europe are taking part. And of course, it's in Liverpool, so the home of the Beatles, a really strong music tradition, but also wanting to host Ukraine. This is Ukraine's win, and we are doing it jointly with them.
No, that's great. I remember when they won, it was very, it was wonderful. And sadly, what's happening in Ukraine is horrible. But, they win the song contest, so I guess they did okay. And now you're hosting it here. Any other events that you want to kind of push on? Coronation's enough, I think, quite frankly.
Yes, because I think that story will run through the year, and all the royal exhibitions and the palaces that people can go and visit right around the country. St George's Chapel in Windsor, seeing huge increase in visitor numbers after the unfortunately after the funerals it has seen there. But yes,
no, it's going to be amazing, and I know if I'm not here, I certainly will be glued to my television to watch that wherever I am. Now, let's talk about your marketing campaigns. Right now, what's the current campaign you have going, especially focused with the U.S.?
So our campaign is See Another Side of Britain, and as before, the constant is we want to encourage international visitors to go outside of London. So around half our international visitors never get outside London. So it is the golden jewel in our crown, but we want to encourage people to come and then explore a little more of Britain and to come out of season, because, Britain can get pretty full in July and August. We want people to come in the shoulder season where they have a great experience, probably slightly cheaper, and can go around the country very easily.
Yeah, so that's why we've only had a night or two in London. You're pushing me outside to first, I think, Liverpool and Manchester. So we're getting out.
Well, great cities you're going to.
They're wonderful cities, yeah. And I watch the football team, so I know that. So yes. But it is great to be out there, and then the rest of England and all over the place, and Scotland. So it really is amazing. Now, is there going to be any change in marketing themes the rest of the year?
I would say not change in themes, but we are investing in markets where we see value coming back most quickly. So, of course, major investment in the US. We've got a 22 million global campaign launching in the next couple of months. A major part of that will be in the American market. And actually, we've tailored a campaign specifically about the American market, which I can't tell you today, but it's really good, and it emphasizes that regionality and that you must get out and explore more. We're also doing marketing co-ops, which we've not done before. I know other tourist boards have done, but we're trialling marketing co-ops. Those will be launching in March. We've had a really good response from people, so thank you to everyone who's taking part on that, and we will show how effective that is. And then we're in the second year of a 3-year campaign with British Airways. That's also going live in March, so hopefully everyone will see Britain in America.
Well, and everybody's going to see Britain in America, and everybody's going to kind of come here. You may not have enough room after a while, especially with all this going on with the coronation and everything else. But it's great that you're really back strongly, which is, I think, that's the main message.
We're back strongly and committed to the American market.
Absolutely. Now, another thing you're committed to is marketing sustainable forms of tourism, and how do you do that here? And I've listened to a few of your folks here during presentations, and you are certainly committed to sustainability in marketing that kind of form of tourism.
Yes, we are, because we can see that post-COVID that's becoming more and more important to people, and different aspects of sustainability. So we have tours and itineraries on our website. We're working with tour operators to build programs that are in themselves sustainability. But as well as being green, it's also about being socially and economically sustainable. So that happy mix of happy residents, happy visitors, happy businesses, how can we make that happen in local areas?
And so getting more in touch with the local communities, eating local foods, eating produce, hearing the stories of people around the country, right?
I think that's absolutely it. We have great local produce right across the country and regional recipes as well. So brilliant food experience. And we've got characters right across Britain who
I know.
talk for us.
Oh yeah, and many of my trips I've met some wonderful characters who are. I met a distiller in Scotland that was just wonderful. I met a woman who was the curator of Hampton Court, and I met someone who was way up in I think it was Edinburgh about genealogy, and they were all such. I wrote a column years ago, the passion that they had for what they do and what they they were giving us a guided tour of, or just cared so much about the historical site they were taking care of.
I think that's absolutely the case. People in tourism have passion. We have passion as a tourist board. My team actually really do. And when I talk to venues and attractions and say, have you got someone we can talk to, there's always someone. There's always someone who's brilliant on camera and just wants to talk to people.
No, and I still remember, I wish I was doing videos back about 10 years ago when I met a lot of those folks, and they would have been great on camera as well. Now, let's talk a little about something else. And I said, something happened in the last few years when we were not here. You've done a lot to your infrastructure and a lot of things going on. We were talking about there's a whole new tube line, the Elizabeth line, and I got off the plane and I said, what's the Elizabeth line? And then I realized what it was. I wish I'd taken it, actually, but that's only one example. And you also have more flights coming in, right?
We have, so as you say, we've got the Elizabeth line, which goes from east to west, right across London. Yes, getting on it from Heathrow would have been an idea. And we've also got much better flight connectivity, and of course airlines go where they're making money, so they're making money on those transatlantic routes, and we're seeing more and more regional routes both from the States into the UK coming on the market, and that will continue to fuel the growth for this year, so very much welcome.
So it's easier to get here, and once you're here it's easier to get around, right?
It is easier to go around. We've got a great public transport system, our trains right across the country. It's really easy to get around, and compared to America, we are a small nation.
Well, very small, and you can get it almost anywhere in Britain in a couple hours by train, and I've done that before. So it's one of these things people don't understand, and how close everything is, and how close, we say get people outside of London and experience it. It's not that far.
It's not that far at all, no. And you're going to Liverpool and Manchester, a couple of hours.
Well, that's going to be tomorrow night. So we'll see what happens then, but I'm sure it's going to be great. Now, let's talk a little bit about where can my readers, travel advisors, go to get more information on Britain and what's going on today in terms of the campaigns you're doing, in terms of, I just listened to presentations by a lot of your team, and there's so much that's new. That I'm going to be deciphering it and pulling it together for some columns, but it is amazing, things, new hotels, new attractions, new events, new hiking tours, new cycling tours, all over the country, right?
Yes, there are. So visit Britain.org if you want to do it on websites, but we have teams in New York and West Coast and in Canada as well. Do get in touch with them and they will work with you and help introduce you to some of the new things that are happening this year.
Absolutely, and really, we'd go there, and I'll be writing some stuff based on this trip. It's just amazing. I get so many things. I say, I want to do that. Going up to Wales to experience this sort of amusement park you have that I think I heard about it for years and it wasn't open yet, and now I'm back, and I wish I could go. We're not going to Wales on this trip, so I have to come back.
No, you'll have to go another time, but you'll have plenty to do.
Absolutely, we're going to be doing a lot of fun stuff. Now, Patricia, I want to thank you for taking the time to speak with us and speak with our audience of about 110,000 travel advisors who are eager to really book Britain even more for 2023.
Thank you very much. Thank you for all the business you've sent us, and please carry on this year.
I'm James Shillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.